This week, CPO 060 issued a press release about the opening of their station in Redding, California, and also a nationwide expansion. Blink is offering free vend on Earth Day on one of their new stations. And another Tesla semi-station was spotted in permitting. Let's get into it. I'm here at a local Tesla Supercharger station because Tesla definitely won the week with most stories. And here in Charlotte, we're doing a pretty good proliferation of Tesla Supercharger stations. A lot of variety. There's one in downtown Charlotte, but it's in kind of a pretty congested area. So that one I'll probably be skipping, but I'll try to go to the other Supercharger stations around the area just to get a little bit of variety, because Tesla is definitely a CPO that has a recurring theme of winning the week with the most number of stories. Starting off with Tesla, each year there's a music festival in California called Coachella. It lasts for a week, and it's in what's known as the Coachella Valley. It's being held at the Empire Polo Club, where Interstate 10 intersects the town. And apparently the infrastructure gets overwhelmed when they hold the festival. And so Tesla, in a noble effort, put 2 Megapacks on tractor trailer trailers, and also 8 Supercharger stalls, and are rolling them out to Coachella in order to help alleviate some of the congestion on the infrastructure, which is very noble, because if you think about it, there's no chance of the vending of the electricity that they're going to be dispensing being able to recoup the expense it's going to take to do a pop-up supercharger in Coachella. So they're basically doing this as a courtesy to the customers and other people in the area in order to alleviate some of the congestion on the infrastructure as a temporary solution to a temporary problem, which is just operating in the best interest of their customers, even if it costs them some money, which is very noble. I'm very impressed with Tesla doing these pop-up superchargers, because it's not just they see congestion occurring and then they react to it. This is them forecasting, hey, there is going to be congestion at this location because of this event, and we're going to pre-position infrastructure in order to alleviate the future congestion. That takes some real effort in order to do that. So very impressed with Tesla solving some of the problems at Coachella this year. And again, it's at the Empire Polo Club, and the Tesla Supercharger pop-up station is just going to be across Interstate 10 on the other side of I-10 from where the festival is being held. Sticking with Tesla, this came to me through the Plug and Play EV newsletter, and if you're not a subscriber, it's a good source for electric vehicle charging news. Steve does a very good job of keeping people informed. Marco RP posted into X a new permit for a Tesla semi-station. And just so you know, the Tesla semi-stations are getting built by Frito-Lay on their private property, but there's also a effort to put public stations out in the environment as well for Tesla semi customers to be able to use. And we heard from Dan Priestley last year at the keynote of ACT that there was going to be this effort occurring. We didn't know exactly where. And then we also got a press release from Pilot Corp saying that they were going to be putting these stations at their property. But this one is not at a Pilot. It's not at a Frito-Lay. It's just at a travel center in my hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina, surprisingly enough. And I went there to go check it out. There's no construction occurring there currently, but it just looks like a privately operated travel center off Interstate 85 on Sugar Creek Road. And very interesting. I'm not quite sure how the site location was identified, if the travel plaza owner approached Tesla or vice versa. But regardless, we have permit design documents showing that a phase 1 of 2 stall Tesla semi going in, and then an expansion of additional 4. And this travel center is typically supporting local people with gasoline, but there's also in the back diesel services for tractor trailers, and also places for diesel trucks to park, which they'll be giving up in order to have these Tesla semi stations put in. So I think they're going to lose their parking spaces for tractor trailers to use as a result of putting the station. But anyways, very interesting to see the expansion occurring. We'll keep an eye on that station to see once it starts getting under construction. But cool to see that, and Tesla also had a good week with their Supercharger, not Tesla Semi, but just the Supercharger team. 10 stations got added, including a station in Campbell, California with 16 stalls and 3 at Target. And for people who are not aware, the Walmart EV charging has been getting a lot of publicity as of late, but Target hasn't been doing anything, which is Walmart's major competitor for big box stores. And instead, what Target has been doing is partnering with CPOs like Tesla and Electrify America in order to allow spaces on their lots to be used for CPOs to put in charging stations. So that is apparently what Target's approach is. And this week, Tesla has 3. One in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 8 stalls. One in Branson, Missouri, which we saw previously under construction, is now open, 8 stalls. And Woodinville, Washington, 16 stalls, all at Targets. Additionally, the Tesla Supercharger for Business team opened 2 stations, one with a CPO called Kansas Charging Network, or KCN, in Belleville, Kansas, 4 stalls, and a place called The Last Drop in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 4 stalls with Francis Energy. Now pivoting to kind of a knockoff of a trend that Tesla started with their Oasis charging station in California off Interstate 5, where they put in photovoltaic supplied charging stations of a ginormous size, basically just altering reality by generating their own electricity, and then putting into Megapacks and dispensing to an electric vehicle charging station. An article by Clean Technica's Jake Richardson reports about CPO Power Station opening their Baker, California station similarly, but this only has 4 stalls, much smaller. And there's indication they're going to expand in the summer with additional stalls. It's at 65857 Razor Road off Interstate 15. And although the address is Baker, it's a good ways away from Baker. It's basically in the middle of the desert, which is just surrounded by sand and mountains. But luckily there is plenty of sunshine. And although California is kind of notorious for being difficult to get power delivered, one thing they do have a lot of is sunshine. So making lemonade out of lemons, Power Station has brought to market a 4-stall station in Baker, California off Interstate 15, powered by photovoltaic. And according to Jake, there's 1,080 solar panels and battery storage. So very similar to what Tesla did at Oasis, just at a smaller scale. Next, Blink is celebrating Earth Day with their new DC fast charger station in Lake City, Florida. The address is 3690 West US Highway 90. And Earth Day is this coming week, April 22nd. And they're going to have free vend. I'm going to say it again, free, 99. Absolutely costs nothing, but is stipulated between the hours of noon and 2 p.m. Eastern. You can go ahead and check out their Earth Day celebration news station in Lake City, Florida. And additionally, EV drivers who share a PlugShare review of the Lake City chargers will receive a $5 Blink charging credit as a thank you. And there's instructions on how to register for your $5 Blink charging credit should you be at the Lake City charging station on Earth Day in order to review them, and then you'll subsequently get a $5 Blink credit. So, happy Earth Day, everyone, as we approach its celebration this coming week. And it's pretty common for the EV community to celebrate Earth Day with drive events and multiple other things. So expect those events coming up this weekend and next. Next, I mentioned 060 issuing a press release about their Redding, California. Let me just read through this really quick. 060 launches 9th EV charging station in California with plans for 60 more nationwide. So getting ready to bust out onto the scene. New Redding opening is the 22nd 22nd location nationwide, highlighting 060's rapid national expansion. I'm going to skip down to the middle paragraph. The new 060 charging station is located at the center of Churn Creek Marketplace Shopping Center. Site is equipped with 16 charging ports, eventually add a canopy. I did not know that. For drivers' comfort, enhancing the charging experience for both local drivers and travelers. The station is now live and available to EV drivers, providing convenient high-speed charging at a popular high-traffic destination. Quote, the Reading site reflects our growth strategy of carefully selecting locations, strong partnership, and an unwavering focus on the driver's first experience. Wade Leopold, Executive Vice President of Faith Technologies Incorporated. It's our 9th location in California and 20th station open nationwide over the past 6 months. They've really been doing a terrific job recently, demonstrating that we are well on our way to meeting our goal of adding 60 new charging stations nationwide over the next 2 years. So be sure to stay tuned for more 060 charging stations getting openings soon. Next, Circle K announced that they're partnering with IONNA to take over the operation of their existing Circle K charge stations and also expanding to an additional, about 250 additional stations. And I did a standalone video on this channel, so if you want to know the specifics, be sure to go check that video out, and I go into it in depth, but definitely a big press release this past week, but covered in depth in a standalone video. So I'm not going to cover it here. I also want to call out a good resource for seeing EV charging stations in your area, and DCFastChargerTracker.com by Alejandro EV66. And we did have Alejandro on this channel talking about when he first opened this. He's been perfecting it over time also, and it's now a really resourceful tool if you're doing DC fast charger tracking, or if you just want to see what's new in your area. You can set little time values, either to like the past week or past month, and then zoom into a specific area, and he's got them broken up by different CPO, color coded and everything. So really good implementation of a electric vehicle charging site tracker, and fast chargers specifically, no level 2, but he did a terrific job developing that, and he continues to iterate and improve that site, so be sure to go check out that site. Now going over CPOs that have added stations in the past week. IONNA added 2, one in Pembroke Park, Florida at a Wawa, 10 stalls, and one in Bensalem, Pennsylvania, 8 stalls. Both of them are rechargery relays, which are the smaller form factor rechargeries that they operate. Red E had a terrific week, opening more than one per day for a total of 10 in the past week. And just grinding it out week after week. Is absolutely incredible what Reddy is doing. I can't really iterate enough, and every week I tally up the numbers, and there's Reddy popped at the top of the list. So I'm not sure, I really don't know how they're doing it. Obviously they're doing it through excellence and professionalism and skill and high motivation. That's what they're doing, and just terrific job by Red E, just churning out week after week station ads. Flow added 3 stations, including a 6 stall in Lévis, Quebec, is how I understand how to pronounce it in French. It entered into the alternative fuels data center database as 4 stalls, but likely one of the Flow Ultra chargers is just not energized or commissioned yet, but eventually it'll be a 6 stall station. Really nice looking. So a good week for Flow. They had a little bit of financial troubles earlier this year, but they seem to still be operating well, with week after week numbers getting added. Pilot Flying J added 2 stations, one in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and the other in Paducah, Kentucky, both 4 stalls. Paducah is in that western portion of Kentucky, out there kind of north of Indiana. Electrify America opened 1 station at the Chess Corner Retail Center in Foster City, California. It's 10 stalls near a Panera Bread. Really nice looking station, and if you look at the pictures, they're using this approach of doing skid deployments where the charger and dispensers that are paired to the charger are on one skid, and then they just drop them in, and they seem to be favoring that approach to their site design as of late, helping to speed things up apparently. ChargePoint had a moderately good week for them, including a 4-stall station in Montreal, Quebec, at a Recharge Co, I think is how it's pronounced. Not familiar with that. And there is an Optimus station, which is a similar partnership to the 060 that ChargePoint has formed. 060 uses ChargePoint hardware, so it's a ChargePoint partnership. And similarly, Optimus Energy is a similar type of arrangement. And Optimus opened a station in Lake City, South Carolina, 2 stalls, but there's no pictures on PlugShare. In fact, the PIP is not even in PlugShare. It's kind of in a remote area of South Carolina. So no information on that station, but that opened this past week. And as I mentioned before, Francis Energy opened a 4-stall Tesla Supercharger for Business station, and it's actually not open, it's a refresh. So it was a previous station. They ripped out the old hardware that was old and unreliable. They put in new Tesla Supercharger for Business hardware, and that station is now open in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Additionally, 3 stations were open, which is higher than average for Francis. One in Campton, Kentucky, 4 stalls at a place called Red River Gorge Inn, likely in the eastern portion of the state. I haven't dialed that in, but the Red River Gorge is in the eastern portion of the state. Moorhead, Kentucky, Down Home Diner, 4 stalls. And Columbia, Pennsylvania, at a Sheetz. Lastly, Walmart posted into the Alternative Fuels Data Center database 4 new electric vehicle charging stations, one of which is in Mesa, Arizona, 4 stalls. The other is in Fort Worth, Texas, 4 stalls. Last one in Rogers, Arkansas, 4 stalls. But if you look at the pictures, once again, these are all 8-stall stations. They're just being entered into the Alternative Fuels Data Center database as 4-stall stations. But you can see clearly in the pictures that each one of the dispensers at each one of these locations is servicing 2 stalls. So a little bit of clerical error. Assumedly, they will correct that as time goes on. Thanks for watching.